Hi, I'm Tim. This is my wife, Andrea. We're the Buchanans, and we've been with Meadowbrook a long time. We have 3 children. 2 are here in Milwaukee, and 1 is in Texas.
We have 3 grandchildren, too, who are being raised here, as were our children. And, it's a family thing.
Back when we started Meadowbrook, it began as Tosabrook, and we didn't really know what to call ourselves, but there was one Sunday while we were attending Elmbrook Church that Stuart mentioned that he was looking to retire, and he felt the urge to encourage those of us who lived in Wauwatosa to form our own church. And so we felt a certain calling to start the church, and a group of people gathered in our home, and it took off from there.
We heard that they wanted to start a church in the Wauwatosa area. We thought that was great because we lived in Tosa, and our neighbors didn't want to go all the way out to Elmbrook. They thought it was too far, and we wanted a neighborhood church.
There were a lot of people who came to our house the first night as an informational meeting, but then we pursued prayer before we did anything, and we met at Hart Park, and we prayed Sunday evenings for a year.
The first school was 95th Street School, an elementary school, and even before that it was the YMCA, and then we went to the Milwaukee School of Languages for a long time before we bought this building. I think we got a little bit too comfortable in doing our portable church and having the school, but we started to hear things that maybe the school district wasn't really going to continue to allow this. There was complaints from people in the community who didn't like the idea that church and school were happening in the same place. And I think it was God's way of moving us out to do something more on our own and have more space.
Meadowbrook has always been a family church. There's some family friends that we still have that remember the first time they came to church, and they've sat in the back pew, and Andrew and I greeted them eventually after church and invited them out for a meal afterwards, and so that's one of the things about Meadowbrook.
We see the value of being generous in this place because we've watched all of the changes and the growth over the years. I mean, obviously leadership and worship and so many things have changed, but the one thing that hasn't changed are the people and what happens here. The welcoming faces and the arms wide open to those who come here. And even just this last week, a little girl was sitting in church with her mom, and at the end of the service, I said, she was so well behaved, and she said, she loves this place. She said, anytime we drive anywhere near here, she points and says, that's the street to my church. She was only about 2 years old. And I thought, it's not that she's saying that's the place where God is, or where it's the house of God, or this special place. She thinks that because it's the people here, and she comes here and they smile at her and they know her name and she belongs. And I think the adults feel the same way. We don't maybe respond the same way, but we come here because we are welcomed. We do know that God is here, and we feel His love, and we're taught about it and reminded of it every time we come here. But we want others to know that. And if we are busting out of the seams because there are too many people for the space that we have, we're going to turn people away, or people are going to say, it's too crowded there, I don't like it, or I have nowhere to park, or whatever their complaint is. We want them to be able to keep coming and keep bringing new people and new families and new children to come and learn about God because they were welcomed here and known and felt like they belonged.
Being generous with your money is a little easier when you're not retired. When you have an income coming in every week, but when you have a limited income, then you start feeling a little bit timid about giving that up. But it's where you really learn that you just trust God with it, and God will surprise you. You can't outgive God, and so that's the challenge. Where do you invest your time? Then you'll find that. People say that, show me a checkbook and I'll show you what matters in your life. Well, Meadowbrook matters in our life. It matters for a lot of different reasons, but, financially, I think it's a great investment.
I think growing this church is not just about growing a building, but it's about growing the people. And I think Brian's doing that with us right now, but I think there are many more who need to hear that, and I don't think we have the space for too many more. On Sunday mornings, the people that just flood down the streets around every corner and come into this building, I'm not sure the neighbors love that, but I love seeing all the people coming, and I want to see many more come. I want to see their children and their children's children come, because God is shining down on this place and these people, and He's growing them, and that's what we're here for. We want people to know Jesus.